good evening. Welcome to Channel 9. First, the headlines. NBA rally. Bangaloreans join hands in protest. The bird flu factor. We bring you a special report. Unusual protest, striking back in a cooperative manner. Now, the news in detail. The Narmada Bachao Andolan has become a national movement as protests spread throughout the country. Even Bangaloreans are supporting the Andolan in the form of a rally today. Joyita Pal has the details.
The rally started at Chikkalal Bagh, where school children, NGO officials, college students, and members of minority groups had gathered. The protesters then marched to Banappa Park, where a series of speeches and protest songs tried to create awareness of the Narmada issue.
Every 5 meters, when you raise the height of the dam, all the people who are uprooted, displaced, you settle them first. Settle them 6 months before someone.
The different groups had come together under the banner of the Narmada Solidarity Forum.
A lot of the groups that are here are people who are fighting in their own areas on the issues of displacement. It's an entire range of things, and I think it's also about people who seemingly live on the fringes of society.
Members of the forum say what is happening in the Narmada Valley is also gradually happening in Karnataka. They say thousands of underprivileged people are being displaced every year in the name of development projects. From Ahmedabad to Delhi and now to Bangalore, the Narmada Valley issue has found a place in the hearts of many across the country. It has come to symbolize not only the struggle of the Narmada Valley settlers, but also of all minority groups. This is Joyita Pal reporting for Channel 9.
Ever since the media reported the entry of bird flu in India, there has been widespread panic. People have stopped eating chicken and many birds have been culled. Channel 9 brings you a special report. This shed would normally hold 12,000 chickens, but now this is empty. This is the scene across many sheds across the country after the bird flu scare. The first case of bird flu was reported on February the 18th. Though only 6 cases were reported in Maharashtra, widespread fear gripped the whole country, affecting the poultry industry. However, scientists at the Central Poultry Development Organization in Hesarghetta on the outskirts of Bangalore clarify that the real fear is the mixing of the avian virus with the human flu H1N1.
There is a chance, maybe probability as I told you 0.0001. In that chance also, there is a chance that these H5N1 and H1N1 can mix up. The human being can act as a mixing vessel. He gets affected also and he may discharge a new virus.
The scientists say that though TV images showed lakhs of birds being culled, it did not mean all were affected, but they had to be culled according to WHO norms. Moreover, it is impossible for the virus to survive at the temperatures to which Indians cook their meat. Following the scare, the poultry industry, which contributes 35,000 crores to the gross national product, is now reeling under huge losses.
Well, I think industry has heavy losses. That I think 7,000 crores they are telling it lost because the bird flu havoc. Well, recovery is very slow. The reason being the public has not realized. Still, they feel there is a threat of bird flu.
1 ಲಕ್ಷ 1.5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಒಂದೂವರೆ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ರನ್ಔಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೂ 1.5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಲಾಸ್. ಯಾರೋ ಹೋಟ್ಲವ್ರು ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಆ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ.
Many contract farmers have been forced to shut shop and move on. They will now have to wait for the next supply to arrive from private hatcheries, and that supply will be determined only by consumer demand. This is Jyoti Sridharan with Aarti Krishnan and Soumya Raja for Channel 9. The government's withdrawal of tax exemption for cooperative banks has put these banks in a dilemma and sparked off protests. One cooperative bank in Bangalore has also decided to protest, but not in the conventional way. Soumya Raja has the details.
Cooperative banks have decided to appeal against the government order to pay 30% of their profits as tax. These banks say this will be too large a burden for them. As a protest, the Guardian Bank in Bangalore has decided to go on an unusual strike. The bank will stay open for 24 hours on the last working day of every month until the government decision is reversed. Bank officials say this novel method of protesting was adopted keeping the customers in mind.
It's a harsh decision that has been taken. It's a harsh proposal. But no, we don't want to inconvenience our customers in any way. We want to do this in a different way and we want to work longer, and this is our way of protest.
The bank's employees work in shifts on the day of the protest.
If there is a need, if there is a necessity to work for 24 hours, our team is ready.
Customers say they support this protest.
We don't find any other way because other ways are ineffective. So I support this type of protest by all means.
Last month, when SBI employees went on strike, tens of thousands of individuals and companies were affected. But this bank believes not only making itself heard, but also in not inconveniencing the customers when it does so. This is Samya Raja with Jyoti Sridharan for Channel 9.
More news on the other side of the break. The third gender, the inside story of a eunuch. Thank you for the music, says Bangalore's youngsters. Welcome back. We see them at the traffic lights. Many of us fear them, mainly because they're known to pester people for money. Many see them as a nuisance, but perhaps there is another side to the third gender. We bring you a special report on a transsexual who not only aspires to lead a normal life, but is also helping others like her.
12 years ago, K.A. Mallikarjun Swamy was a teenager in Mysore. Today, he is Chandani, a transsexual who says she discovered her sexual orientation when she was just 10.
I had my sex change operation in Tamil Nadu. It's not that costly. When I got it done, it was about 2,500 rupees.
Today in Bangalore, she says, daily life is a struggle for dignity.
We have a lot of problems. We don't get houses for rent easily. They recognize us and refuse to rent. Traveling by bus is another problem. Now that I am with Sangama, I know my rights. Be it male or female, now I don't spare them. Even when I sit next to women, they say, "Chi, tu," like we are dogs.
Though Chandani has completed her higher secondary education as a boy, her sex change made further studies impossible. She says, as a result, most like her are left with no other option but to beg, dance and become sex workers. Sex workers who ply their trade in hammams like this one in Mahadevpura in Bangalore. According to Chandani, their choice of livelihood and their sexuality make them constant targets of police harassment.
When I first joined the community 2 weeks into work at Magadhi Road, the police raided us and beat us brutally for doing sex work. They put us in central jail for 9 days. There also we were tortured. They forced us to wear male clothes. Many who had a sex change were humiliated. We were sexually molested by the police and other convicts also.
In her attempt to help those like her, Chandani joined Sangama, a local NGO which works for sexual minorities. The community is fighting for basic rights like ration cards, legal marriages and adoption. Though the government has made changes to help them obtain voter ID cards and passports, Chandani says it's still a tough battle. Even so, Chandani has managed to rent a house and despite her hardships, she still has hope. 6 months ago, with the help of another NGO, she adopted a baby girl.
The adoption by Chandani is not legal, but she says she wanted a baby girl of her own because a girl she says will not abandon her when she learns of her mother's true story. With Jyoti Sridharan and Archana Abraham, this is Aarti Krishnan reporting for Channel 9.
Bangalore has been in the news for its lack of nightlife. Bangaloreans, on the other hand, seem to be finding their own means of having fun. Archana Abraham swings to the beat.
Once known as the Pub City, famous for its raging nightlife, Bangalore has always attracted youngsters from other cities as well. But with the recent curfew that has forced pubs and discos to shut early, Bangaloreans have begun to look elsewhere for entertainment. Some coffee joints have taken to organizing live music sessions where local bands can display their talents and their friends can unwind as well.
It's quite different. For one, it's good to have a nice clean environment to listen to music in. And often, an audience in a coffee shop is much more receptive than an audience in a coffee.
For those who prefer to belt out the tunes themselves, karaoke hits the spot. Shopping malls and resto bars have begun to dedicate a couple of days every week to karaoke, and the crowds are swarming in.
We just have a lot of fun here, both singers and non-singers, just singing our heart out because it's what we all love to do, and it's much better than just hanging out and drinking coffee.
From pubs to cafes, and now live events and karaoke, Bangaloreans are finding a new way to entertain themselves. And this time, it's not the DJ who's in charge. This is Archana Abraham with Jyoti Sridharan for Channel 9.
On that happy note, we leave you. That's all from the newsroom tonight. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you.